Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've got a few pre-show notes for you. First, a reminder. All of the content we produce is available on our website at finalshowfilms.com, as well as youtube.com/Senstaku, senstaku.podbean.com, twitch.tv/Senstaku, and on iTunes. We are only able to do the things we do thanks to the kind support of our Patreon donors. We give a special shout out to our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic and Cat Waterflame. If you'd like to support us that way, be sure to check it out. Secondly, a thank you to the folks over at 411mania.com. They produce articles and content related to wrestling, MMA, movies, music, and gaming. Go check them out. We appreciate their support as well. And lastly, be sure to subscribe, comment, and rate, if possible, wherever you listen to or watch our content. It helps us know what you like, what you don't like, and helps us make more content. Feedback is always appreciated. With all that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Shadows in the Valley, Punishment. I'm John, the storyteller for the evening, and with me today is Jeremy.
Hi, I am Jeremy. I am playing a person. I'm playing someone.
Kisaki Hisoka.
Hisoka. I'm gonna get that right at some point. Dragon Clan investigator.
And also Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I am playing Yase Hinata, the Lion Clan mage healer.
And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I'm playing Nakano Hayato, the Scorpion Clan Shisoro Infiltrator.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Renakane, Crab Clan Berserker.
And when last we left our investigation team, they had finished cleaning up some of the issues that were happening in the farming village of Kawanofutago, coming to realization with how massive the farming community actually was, with roughly a little over 40 farms that they were looking over to investigate disappearances, determining and finding and dealing with the threat being a water hag, or a bog hag. After dealing with it, they rested back at the inn and prepared to determine their next course of action, when two of them, with their astute hearing, heard a commotion outside. The group went out and found that a group of loggers had been attacked in the forest to the south, and the group went to investigate. Whereupon they found, sitting in the clearing at the farthest point of the logging trail that the loggers had cleared, a tattooed man who seemed to be just sort of sitting there. This is when they met Kairai Akujin, apparently one of the people behind the chaos in the valley. He gave them an ultimatum, that being that the Kisaki clan had a month to leave and that the valley was now his, upon which Akane and Hayato attacked, both of them being deftly parried and dealt with by this entity's bare hands. Afterwards, Hisoka asked that he relocate somewhere else, and he did, leaving them with a message and the injured Akane, who had been kicked quite hard.
Actually, currently I have 20 wounds, and I am still healthy.
I fixed that.
Yeah, that's why you're okay.
Also, I increased my earth ring, so like previously I would have been nicked, but I'm currently healthy.
Yes. You're still bruised. You're still feeling the impact. As much as the healing helped you be able to move and reset your jaw, you still feel the soreness and tightness of the muscles.
Anyone else hurt?
Not significantly.
Not enough that I notice. I've still got some lingering bits from the hag fight the other day, but those will go away.
I am fine. Well,
I don't want to expend any more magic right now. If everyone's
yes.
all right.
No, we are good. Sounds like we need to head back and report.
Of course.
All right. And so we are going to sorry, I'm trying to things are behaving inappropriately. Anyways, so we slide cut 3 days later back to
I'm going to assume that my wounds are healed by
the
that point.
Kisaki-jo. You all have 3 days worth of healing that have happened to you.
And I can, like, probably before we first rest, if anyone's still battered, I can definitely.
I'm pretty certain 3 days of worth of natural healing will have fixed everything.
How much do you heal a day?
You heal every day. You recover a number of wounds equal to twice your stamina trait plus your insight rank.
God, yeah, I'm good. I only had 4 wounds.
9,
It'll
18,
definitely
yeah,
be
it's been
enough
3 days,
for
I'm good.
Hayato and Hisoka.
In 3 days, I'm good.
After 3 days, all of you, your wounds have fully healed. Hisoka, you've been able to remove the bandages, and removing the bandages, you see this 5 puncture scars in your shoulder that are a reminder of the hag that encountered you. This permanent, not debilitating, but disfigurement, sort of in your chest, where the hag ripped open your chest.
Mm-hmm.
And Hayato, you've got these sort of claw marks along your side where the hag hit you that remain as scars.
Yep.
Slightly discolored from the rest of your skin tone, but not dangerous, just a reminder. And Akana, you've just got this. You're still bruised, even 3 days.
I just got a little bit of stiffness in the jaw.
Yeah, like it hurts to talk and eat, but it's healing.
But not to drink.
Not to drink. It's true.
Exactly. I still have that bottle of Chocho. Need to get another one of those soon.
And you all are sitting respectfully before Kisaki-so, who is reading the note, who has the letter that you had previously sent to him in hand.
Yep.
And sort of looking between you all and it, you have delivered the message that was given to you, and you have been sitting for what feels like an eternity, but in reality has been probably a minute. As he simply looks between the letter and you.
Wait patiently.
Very well. What do you know of this Akujin?
We know. Hold on, let me bring up my notes thing. Not a lot.
It's true.
I don't say that. I mean, honestly, there is much that still needs to be discovered, obviously. We know the tales of Karaikyo having defeated an Oni in the past. It can be presumed that this is the same person. We know that Kara has followers. Whether they're operating as at least some of them operating as bandits in outside of cities. And we know that his presence appears to be bringing more dark creatures in, who perhaps otherwise would not do so.
Hmm. And what do you know of his capabilities?
Extensive. Clearly very skilled. Whether it was him or whether it was somebody else, there was the instance underneath the monastery. I think it is logical, although certainly not confirmed, to suggest that he was, if not responsible, involved in that. Combat-wise, very formidable. Skillful in stealth. He was able to kill many well-armed guards in what appear to be single punches. And was able to get in, kill the one bandit that we had in custody, and get out without anybody realizing what had happened until he was already gone.
He sort of directs his attention to Akane. And what does the crab know of this Akujin?
We know that Akujin is typically a name taken by powerful lost, uncertain whether this individual qualifies, but they don't have that presence that powerful beasts of the Shadowlands do. They don't radiate Fulang's energy, but his body is like iron, and I think if anyone else in our group had taken the strike that he delivered to me, they would not still be standing here.
Your tenacity speaks well of your clan. We will investigate this matter further. We are of the Dragon Clan, and we do not relinquish our territory to anyone, regardless of their professed power.
Of course.
That being said, we need more information. Did nothing that you had seem to have any effect on this creature?
I look at Hayato.
His defense was iron-like, as Akane-sama has said.
He had to grasp your blade by the back.
We did not utilize every possible weapon we had at that point. I felt it was significant that the situation being as it was, I didn't feel like it was likely that we would be able to defeat him, and it would be best not to tip our hand.
That is wise. He does indicate towards Hayato. Hayato, please, continue.
His deflection of Akane-sama's blade was forthright, standard. Despite using only his bare flesh, he was able to withstand her attack, skin to blade edge. With mine, however, Yukigiri he grasped by the back of the blade. Unfortunately, I was unable to bring the edge within contact to his flesh, so that may have been arrogance on his part or knowledgeable caution?
The blade is a sacred weapon, blessed of the kami. It may be that such weapons are the tools by which one might end this Akujin.
A thought had occurred to me, Kiseki Domo.
In that instance, then, I have a new task for you, and it is threefold. Listen well, and continue to serve me well. First, you are to continue your investigation, this time with a focus on this Akujin. Learn whatever you can. Second, you are to investigate the presence of any more sacred relics blessed of the kami. Retrieve them and put them to our defense. And third, you are to find allies, capable warriors, who might stand against this threat. For whatever payment you can devise, or you feel we may be able to provide. No matter what their station, in this they can earn honor and glory. Be aware of that.
Very well.
You are dismissed. And the four of you get up and leave.
Yep. Yep.
Where you can then retrieve your weapons from the antechamber.
Well,
Can I make an etiquette roll?
Sure. What for?
To see if these new instructions supersede or are appended to our job of still watching out for the, I think,
You don't
Mantis
need to make
clan
you don't need to make
Okay.
a roll. He didn't
Okay.
say your previous job was done.
Okay. Just check it.
So yes, these will be added on.
Cool. Good to know.
well,
Finding weapons then.
and everything else. Would I know of good potential places to look for that kind of thing?
Libraries certainly
Yeah.
would be a place to look for information.
Right.
They are sacred weapons specifically blessed by the kami, which means Shugenja would be people you should talk to. These are things that may have been touched upon in legend and lore, so older people might also be a thing you would want to talk to.
Hey, isn't there a monastery down the road?
Yep. I mean, it does seem to be the smartest place to go at the moment.
It has been 3 days, so it's been your first week has basically passed at this point.
Uh-huh.
So you've got 3 weeks left before the ambassador, before both the ambassador from the 3 weeks before the ambassador from the Mantis arrives, and 3.5 before Akujin said get out.
Before Akujin kills them all.
We can be optimistic about. No, we can't.
Well, unless there is a better option, I'm open to suggestions.
Given I studied as a Shugenja, is there anything I would know that the others don't?
Sure, give me a lore roll. Do you have any particular lore specialties or lore?
I do. I get 2 from my class. I have lore history and lore theology, both of which are potentially relevant.
Either one, whichever one's better.
They are the same. 16. Not the smartest.
Sacred weapons are you know that sacred weapons are weapons blessed by Kami, but they're slightly more than that. They are weapons that were forged under the blessing of the Kami, not just weapons that have been blessed. Mm-hmm. The oversight of their creation was blessed by the Kami. The materials used were blessed by the Kami. Everything in it was blessed. So they are pretty closely guarded relics of various peoples. The best place to look for them are in legend and in story, and locality would potentially be in places where the Kami are particularly dense. Any place where the Kami gather would be a place where you might find something like this.
Flashback to a certain lake. So legend would certainly be a good place to examine. The blades are essentially, such weapons are essentially blessed in every possible aspect. The materials, the process, the weapon itself, all favored, blessed by the Kami. They tend to be like sacred relics of various peoples. So yeah, stories or legends of such artifacts are potentially the best way to locate them.
It sounds like monastery to me.
Tengoku no Mazumi is our objective then, yes.
Yep.
Hayato's going to take a quick walk around the grounds before we leave.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
An owl.
An owl? You don't see an owl, but if you you know that if you need to speak with him, you have a way by which of contacting.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be to go to your room, brew a pot of tea, and place it on the windowsill.
Okay. We're going to hold off on that for now.
All right. Yeah, no, it does not seem as if that owl has been hanging around.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody else is doing? Akane, are you doing anything?
Waiting to leave. She's very anxious and rather not be standing around in one place.
All right. So the four of you gather and prepare to leave, heading once more back to Tengoku no Mizumi.
Yep.
Now that you have handled the bandit issue on the road heading there, you find your travel to be fairly uninterrupted, as you spend the next day traveling overland, eventually arriving back at Tengoku no Mizumi just before the sun sets.
Okay. Sorry, hold on just a second.
Mm-hmm. Hayato will have probably established on the way down whether or not we wanted to try and stay at the magistrate's location again, or if we wanted to take more traditional lodgings. probably would have talked that over.
Standard
with
answer,
Hisoka.
whatever is most appropriate.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I think is there a reason why we would not?
Well, you haven't been invited in. One.
Well, yes.
Which it is rude.
I mean, obviously.
It would be rude to assume invitation.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So Hayato will just sort of direct everybody to the closest decent quality inn he can find.
So Tengoku no Mizumi has a wider variety of... It's a larger city than Kawa no Futago, and it's a proper city as opposed to Kawa no Futago, which is more farmland.
Right.
So it actually has a wider variety of possible inns. Is there one in particular is there a particular type of inn you're looking for?
Out of the way, less popular, but so like he wants the number 2 inn in town, basically.
Okay. That would be Riverside.
Okay.
Actually, just it's an inn next to the bridge. So there's a bridge that spans the river that connects both halves of Tengoku no Mizumi. It's also just north of the docks where you guys took a ferry out to the monastery. And on the north side of that bridge, there is a small little inn by the river, which actually has a water wheel on it. If you're not certain if it's for decorative purposes or for some other purpose. And it's just it's a little sort of a longhouse style inn. It doesn't have a second floor, and because of that, they tend to have fewer people there. But overall, the quality of the establishment is fairly high.
Okay. So yeah, he'll go there, explain that we're on assignment from Kiseki Joe, and that we need 5 rooms.
Yeah, and you're able to acquire rooms for an amount of money that I will determine to be fairly small.
Okay.
As soon as I remember where the money breakdown is, because it's in a stupid place in this book.
Like everything
I
else in
feel
this book.
like there is no good place in this book for something to be.
It's true. There it is.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, for like 5 zeni each, you
Okay.
can get a room. So, which, as a reminder, one koku can be broken. 1 koku is a year's worth of rice. It can be broken down into 5 bushels or bu, and each bu can be broken down into 10 pennies called zeni.
Because we don't want this to be too easy.
No, you wouldn't.
1, 5, 10.
Okay.
Which means actually 50 zeni is a koku.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we have lodging. Fantastic.
Wait, no, it's
Because
10.
one koku is 5 bushels, and each bushel is 10 zeni.
5 times
So-
10 is 50.
Yeah, 50.
50 zeni is 1 koku, yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I give up.
Anyways. So yeah, 5 zeni each, and you all have rooms for then, and then let's just basically the rooms are for a week at a time. So,
Okay.
yeah, you all have rooms. You all spending the night in quiet repose.
Yep.
All
At the moment.
Hayato is gonna wander the town after dark,
okay.
like you do, just watching and
So-
staying out of sight.
As the rest of the group goes to sleep, Hayato goes out at night. Are you just wandering the ground, or are you going to get up on the rooftops?
Oh, he's going rooftops.
Give me a... What's the climbing check here?
Probably athletics.
Yeah, give me an athletics check.
37.
Oh yeah, so you give me a stealth check as well.
Okay. 25.
Yeah, so you walk hands sort of folded behind your back. You walk out, your straw hat on. Walk out into the street, see a couple of workmen pulling carts through the night. And just the camera angle shifts to the other side of this one cart that's coming by, and you're just sort of standing there looking around, and the cart goes by, and as the cart clears the frame, you're gone. And we catch back up to you on the rooftops as you move very quietly from roof to roof, not bothering too many people. Give me just a flat perception check.
Okay. 27.
All right. The night seems fairly calm. There's a few there's a few spots of activity where night workers are continuing on. There's the red light district on the far side of town that is obviously busy at night.
Yep.
And it's fairly quiet. Birds making noise, obviously, things like that. Is there a particular place you're going to as you stride across the rooftops?
No, this is more, he's actually, for the first time in a while, just doing some base investigative work, more or less. He's Batman patrolling.
Just getting to know the place, yeah.
Right.
So you sort of spend a while learning the layout of the town. Very quickly, you determined that sort of the river that splits the town in two is sort of the unspoken line of separation between the sort of class distinction of the town. The magistrate's office, most of the marketplace, most of the proper marketplaces, and upper class residential areas are on the north side of the river. And the northwest side of the river, and then the lower class residences, the red light district, the open air markets are on the southeast side of the river. And so heading in that direction, it starts to get darker for one. There's less lighting out at night in that area. It's also there are less guard. You see some guard patrols at night in the northern side of town. On the southern side of town, there are no guards at night. You do see people moving about, but they are distinctly not guards.
Okay.
They are what you would typically refer to as commonly dressed, which is they are wearing a yukata or a robe of some kind, and like a weapon hidden within it, like in their waistband, but on the inside of the robe rather than on the outside of the robe. And several of them have tattoos that are distinctly not monk tattoos, sort of coming down their chests or down their back. They tend to congregate around the open air market and the red light district. Give me the perception check.
All right. That's a 4.
Wow, really?
Yep. Two
Nice,
wins.
man.
Yeah, I know. So you're sort of getting to you sort of get to a point where you're sort of crouching down on a rooftop and just observing the open air market. When you feel pressure sort of right in the middle of the back of your spine, like right in the middle of your shoulder blades.
Okay.
And you hear a feminine voice. What you doing? And you just feel this pressure, like it's like a block, like right in the middle of your spine.
Okay.
Just
So it feels
pushing.
blunt, not sharp.
Yeah.
Watching the streets.
I
And
mean-
yourself.
Watching the people watching the streets. You're a bit fancy dressed for being up here, aren't you?
It is cold. One must stay warm if one is to stay active.
So, what should I call you, Mr. Watching People?
You may call me Hawk.
All right, Hawk, you can call me Sparrow.
I am honored to make your acquaintance. Still haven't turned around.
And that pressure hasn't left.
Right.
So, Hawk, why should I not just string you up and let the vultures come?
Well, you are certainly welcome to try. However, I find that a flock achieves more when working together than when fighting amongst itself.
And what reason do I have to work with you, mister? I'm just watching people on the street. I mean, you got fancy clothes.
Would you like some as well?
I'm
Or
not
is
that
that not
kind of
your flavor?
I'm not that kind of girl.
What is it that you require, then?
Mostly I just get paid to make sure people like you aren't snooping around where they don't need to be.
I see. Well, if I should take my observations elsewhere, where would you recommend?
Other side of the river?
Excellent. And should a hawk need the services of a sparrow, how should he go about finding her?
Throw some money around in the open markets.
Very well. You do your service proud. I commend you.
You feel the pressure removed from between your shoulder blades.
And I'll just glance over my shoulder, fully expecting there to be nobody there.
No, there's somebody there.
Okay.
You see what looks to be an 18-year-old girl, wearing black, basically black slacks. Like looks like they were It looks like they were hakama at one point that got stitched up into leggings.
Okay.
And what looks to have at one point been like a martial artist gi that has also been patched and reworked. She has short black hair that's sort of like very messily trimmed into a pixie cut, like she did it herself with a knife rather than somebody doing it for her. Just sort of sitting back on this sort of chimney that you had sort of been moving past, with her legs crossed and holding a throwing dagger. Looks like a throwing dagger with a square pommel, which looks like that's probably what she had in your back.
Okay.
Just leaning on her hand with the dagger at the ready and another dagger in her other hand. Watching you.
Hayato would be wearing his Ashigaru and mask both.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't look like she's not hiding her face at all.
okay.
Again, she just looks like she's an 18-year-old girl.
All right. Any visible tattoos at all?
None that you can see.
Okay.
Though she's mostly bundled up. The sleeves of her top are like taped around her elbows.
Okay.
And you do notice, however, that she is shoeless.
Right.
And the tights are sort of taped just below the knees.
Okay.
She doesn't look like she's dressed particularly warmly, but she also doesn't look like she's shivering from the cold either.
Okay. I'll give her my most formal bow, and then
she'll wave while still holding the dagger,
and then just head off the same direction that I was headed previously, which is probably kind of a southwesterly, across the rooftops.
Okay. She continues to watch you
Okay.
as you go.
Cool.
And after a while, you turn back to look and see if she's still there, and she's not there anymore.
Right. And I'll probably give it another hour or two of just kind of getting the lay of the land and then go back to my inn and get whatever's left of the night's sleep.
Yeah, you get some rest. You're used to sort of staying up a little later than everyone else and doing investigations. So.
A little bit.
The morning comes. You all awake.
Mm-hmm. Let me get back to 120.
Breakfast is fish and rice.
Yeah.
And ale.
For some of us.
You learn that the water wheel actually is Aaron, you're muted.
I'll just assume the Crab Clan have magic livers and it's fine.
You learn that the water wheel is actually part of a miniaturized mill that they have where they can basically make their, rather than having to buy bread from other people, they can make their own here. Like they basically just buy wheat instead and the other materials that they need. So the bread that you get with your meal is particularly fresh and delicious. You realize why, even though this is a smaller building than others, why people would recommend it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, unless we have any further business to conduct here before setting out, Wait.
To the monastery and
Yes.
hopefully what legends and
Yes.
records they may have.
All right. You all set out. You find another ferry that will take you across. And after an hour, you find yourselves back at the monastery. And again, you're overcome by that warmth that the monastery has, remembering that the lake is situated atop natural sort of vents in the lake floor that keep the entire island warm and comfortable season round. You step off and head upstairs, and you are back at the monastery. Are you seeking out the record keeper again, or are the keeper of
Yes, we definitely want. Definitely want to keep those in charge here in the know that we are here.
All right. So you guys find Togashi Gen, who welcomes you back. Yes. Is there anything else you require assistance of on my part?
Yes. We are in search of information, lore regarding a couple of matters. Brain, word, relics, things.
Kami blessed artifacts.
Thank you. As well as any information you may have in your archives about Kairakyo.
Well, we do have some information about both those subjects, as a matter of fact.
Excellent.
Come with me. He'll lead you further into the monastery. His room was where the rolls were, which is what you had been after previously. This time he leads you into a library, where you find there are basically just racks of both scrolls that have information on them and leather-bound books. Sort of both different types. It seems that each has their own different style. They have a couple of different styles of information recording here in the monastery. One of them that he pulls down and rolls open, in relation to the sacred weapons, Kami blessed divine artifacts, there are many, more than we could keep accounting of.
Of
Kami
course.
have been at work for many, many years, after all, blessing weaponsmiths. Even one fellow by the name of Masamoon was blessed several times, or so the legends tell. But, in particular, the most famous of these artifacts, the most well-known, as it were, are the clan symbolic relics. These are typically held by someone of importance within their clan, though some are lost to time, thievery, a variety of others. We don't keep records on who may necessarily have them, of course, but we do have information about them in particular. It goes down and sort of indicates this and goes through. We have the Caillou blade of the Crab clan. It is a katana forged from steel that is unbreakable, and its edge is keener than any. It is said that a single stroke of this weapon could slice through an Oni's hide without meeting any resistance. The Crane clan have the Kakita blade, which, fittingly enough for the family it's named for, makes them supreme duelists, allowing them one who duels with this blade. It seems that fate itself can be shifted in the manner of a duel. The Dragon have the twin sister blades, the Miramoto clan, which, once gripped, rarely leave their wielder's hands. The Lion, the Akodo blade, another katana. With this blade, in addition to it being a powerful weapon, one can feel the force of their honor and glory at work, and it inspires great deeds in those who wield it. The Mantis have their Stormkama, a pair of sickles. They strike with the efficacy of lightning and thunder. The Phoenix have their Inquisitor's Strike, a Wakizashi, a side blade, which functions as if it were a jade weapon against those of the Shadowlands. The Scorpion have a Shosuro blade. It's a blade that increases the efficacy of their poisons. The Spider, they have a black steel blade, which taints the targets. Not all Kami are good, after all. This one was forged through the power of the dark Kami. And the Unicorn have a weapon I believe is referred to as a scimitar. It makes its wielder one with the mount. We all know the Unicorn are, after all, famous for their bond with their animals, and the spirits in this blade make that bond stronger. There are, of course, many others that do not rely upon clan or kin, that were forged throughout the eras, wandering the land, being held by their respective families or by the Kami themselves, depending on what the era requires of them.
Okay. Sorry, that was a metric crap ton of information.
Basically, there are many spirit blades
Yes.
of this kind, and each clan has one that's iconic to it.
Yes.
Which you can find in the handbook on page 155.
Right.
And then, in addition to those, there are others that don't belong to clans, that don't belong to people.
Yes.
You asked for information about them.
I asked for stuff that we could look up. I didn't ask for a dissertation, but that's fine. A dissertation works.
He's an old man. If you're interested in the forging process of these, I have many scrolls. And he begins pulling off more scrolls he pulls off like a half dozen more scrolls, each of which seem to be related to blacksmithing and speaking with the kami. And
no, that's quite. We're looking more for information about ones that are perhaps lost or ones that need to be located or could be located.
Well, there are many legends. Here, I think, and he says, indicating another shelf of mixed scrolls and tomes. Here are many legends of battle and glory and valor. Perhaps reading through them, you might find your clues that you are looking for. The other was information on Kairi Kyo, correct?
Yes.
We do have, aside from the scroll that I've already shown you, which I will bring down for you while you are looking through these others, there isn't much. I will see what I can gather while you look through these.
Wonderful, thank you.
He sort of leaves you with a bookshelf full of stuff about spirit blades and blacksmithing and communing with the kami, and heads out to find other things.
Start reading.
Everyone give me investigation checks as you look through these books for information related to...
Let me tell you how well this is going to go for a Akane.
Your TNs are lowered because you have resources. So
I got a 14.
I got a 10.
I got a 35.
Show off.
Well, you know, some
All right.
things.
Yeah, no. It's
Give me
I
a
sneak
second.
around, you investigate shit.
Yes.
20.
So, Akane, you are obviously attracted to the more valiant and glory-filled tales of samurai fighting and killing demons and each other.
Mostly demons.
Mostly demons, but there's lots of glory to be had. And you find information about a Bicento, that is it is referred to as the Raigiri, the lightning cutter, and it appears to have been forged through blessing of the Kami of Air, something to do with lightning and electricity, obviously, wielded by a samurai of no known origin or clan. And lost, who himself was lost on a battlefield somewhere. You sort of had like this sort of key of information, but you can't find much more about him, other than that it was a him, and that it was a Bicento.
He was a man with a large white mustache.
Hayato, you find information about your own Shoshoro blade, and sort of details about how it was moved around and lost from one place to another. Hinata, you find that the Lion's Akodo blade is missing. You find tales of the loss of the Akodo blade. And
I didn't do it.
Well, obviously no. It was lost hundreds of years ago.
You still did it.
It was you find it basically, it was formerly wielded by various champions of the Lion Clan, and in battle with in battle with the forces of the Phoenix and the Dragon, the last known champion of this blade fell, and the blade itself was lost to time. The battlefield that they fought on was actually fairly close to where you guys are now. I'm trying to remember where the name of these areas was. Wayne, what's the name of the places on the map in the book?
At the very back.
It's at the very, very back. I'm just trying to... Oh, the location guide, that's right.
Yeah, location guide.
It was... hang on, I need to look at this location here.
Yeah, you gotta go to the front of the book to find the actual location, and the back of the book to find out what it was.
Yeah.
Because fuck this book.
The land is, fortunately you can... Oh wait, no you can't. Why can't you do that? Oh well. The land is now currently occupied by a minor clan, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Not the same minor clan, I assume.
No. Not
Not Hisoka's family.
not the Kisaki. And as soon as I find, there it is. It is currently in the battlefield. The battlefield that the blade was lost on is now the site of Kyuden Kasuga, which is an estate of the Tortoise clan, constructed in the an estate of the Tortoise clan, which is to the west of the valley, a province over, basically.
Hinata will politely and concisely relay her findings, which I don't feel like reiterating all of that for.
And Hisoka, you find that the Dragon Clan blades, the twin sister blades, are currently being wielded by the champion of the Minamoto family, and have been passed down from champion to champion in the Minamoto family for generations. You also find rumor that there was at one point a collection of weapons forged forged by a legendary weaponsmith on the island that the Citadel currently sits on, before it was claimed by the monks. Back when it was a fortress, a legendary swordsmith resided here along with the forces that occupied it, and with the blessing of the Kami of the Lake, forged several weapons of varying types. Those weapons were scattered and lost when the Dragon Clan took the area, but they existed at one point here. It's possible, and you theorize that it's possible the Kami might remember them. Especially because the lake is such a natural balance point that the Kami here would be powerful and potentially long-lived and with long memories.
Okay. I passed that along.
So that's the information you all find. Does anybody want to research any of the information each other found?
Yeah, I'll delve a little bit deeper into the missing lion.
And Hayato would be interested in the weapons that were forged here and any references to.
I'll swap
if
with
any of them were lost.
It's the moment where everybody's like, all right, Switch.
Yeah, basically. Okay, you fact check me, I'll fact check you.
Yeah.
That's kind
Yeah.
of what's happening.
We are checking each other's work.
Okay. And Akane, you're like, no one cares about this guy I found. All right.
Sweet. I don't care either.
I can do that next, maybe.
We don't not
Actually-
care.
So give me.
That is less immediately applicable. Of course, we will address it in time.
So the three of you give me an additional investigation checks as you're looking into these other things that other
Holy
people
shit,
found.
24.
Hey, Hayato, you are very interested in
The shit they made on this island.
So starting with Hayato, because you rolled first. Was 28 from Hisoka.
Yep.
I think Hinata rolled first.
18
Actually.
from that's right, 18 from Hinata. We'll start with Hinata then. So Hinata, you were looking into what were you looking into, Hinata?
Hisoka and I switched documents, so Dragon Clan.
The paired blades.
Oh, that was known information. That's currently being held by the champion of the Minamoto.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess the thing Akane found, the dude.
Okay, looking for the dude.
I didn't realize that was essentially Hisoko found what was to be found.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The-
Unless we want to go and say, "Give us your swords."
Or give us your champion.
No, we're not saying give us your swords. We're saying
As a-
give us your
Well,
champion.
as a
That's
reminder,
even worse.
one of your missions
Yes,
is
I
to find
know.
allies.
I found one. She's just a street rat.
Works for
Hey.
me.
Scoundrel, take that.
We're Dragon Clan. We don't do anything normal.
So Hinata, you find that the owner of Raigiri, once belonged to a clan that was wiped out. You find that the reason why the records become so hard to find about this particular warrior is because he no longer has a clan or a lord, which means he's a Ronin. So you would have to and the Ronin do not obviously keep very good or accurate records,
Especially not of each other.
especially not of each other. So what if this weapon still resides in the hands of someone? You'll have to find the Ronin community or some sort of representative of that. God knows if there is one. To get more information there.
Or just stumble across him as he wanders the roads.
Yeah.
All I'm hearing
Like
is,
I said,
hey, there's
I
a guy
need
out there
that
who really needs
crystal
a
thing
job.
from Samurai 7, so I can just we go that way until we find a Ronin Samurai.
There you go. Hayato.
Yep.
So there, you find that the bladesmith that worked here was actually the person who'd been previously referenced, the Masamune, sort of a mythical figure in the realm of bladesmithing. He created 7 swords while here, under the blessing of the kami. And each of these 7 swords was given out to various shogun and generals and spread across the lands. It seems that they were used in wars against each other, wars against internal Rokugani wars against the Shadowlands, and it seems like eventually all 7 of these weapons or approximations of them were collected by the imperial family as they found their way beyond their original owners. Then, some couple hundred years ago, during one of Rokugan's various civil wars, the imperial city was raided and the weapons stolen. It is rumored that the Mantis might know where those weapons end up, because the the smugglers that were purported to have assisted with the removal of those weapons was of the Mantis clan.
Okay.
And Hisoka, you're looking into the Akodo blade. Yeah, so the last known reporting of the Akodo blade was on the battlefield that is currently occupied by a Tortoise Clan castle. The Tortoise Clan came in after this battle ended and basically said, look, none of these three armies are capable of defeating each other in a substantive enough way that you can claim this territory. So I'm going to come in as a neutral party and sort of take the land and be here, and y'all can chill the fuck out. And it worked. Because basically by that point, the three clans had lost so much warring with each other that they couldn't stop the Tortoise from just taking the land.
And it was Dragon,
Dragon,
Lion,
Phoenix, Dragon, Lion, and Phoenix.
And Phoenix, okay.
And so that and that this is much the same story with much of the neutral or minor clan area between those three clans. Those three clans are sort of constantly at each other's throats. And on a grand scale. And so that they just weren't, their resources had been spread too thin and their warriors were too disheartened and weakened to really go in and fight that claim. So as far as anyone knows, the Lost Akodo Blade is still in Tortoise Clan territory.
Okay. Good to know. And that would be where?
It's to the west. It's basically one province west of the valley. If you're looking at the map, remember the valley is
G4
is G20.
Oh yeah.
The valley is that lake that lake south of G20 on the map is where the valley is. MC5 immediately to the west is the Tortoise Clan castle.
I like that I say okay when I do not have the map even. It's not in front of me. The PDF is not even open.
It's nearby. It's probably
how conspicuously fortunate.
Judging distances, it's probably it's probably a week or two's ride on horseback, or by boat, probably less than a week.
I may be wrong about this, but isn't there an issue with taking Akane outside of your territory area?
No.
Oh.
I'm as long as I'm serving the lord that I am apparently hostage to.
Okay, there's
Akane cannot leave by herself.
You said G5?
G20.
MC5.
MC5,
Okay.
G20. Really quick, I need to take a quick break because someone's knocking on my door. I'll be right back. And we're back, and the astute viewer might notice I have a different shirt on. Yay. Anyways. So, you have gathered a lot of information. After a while, Gen comes back down with another series of scrolls, putting them down, and going through them with you. And basically, there's not much known about Kairi Kyo aside from his defeat of an Oni. He was a solid, like he was a like sort of a in his youth, he was like sort of an like poster boy for the clan. He supposedly died 500 years ago.
I was gonna say, isn't this guy supposed to have been dead for a while?
He supposedly died 500 years ago. Shortly after defeating the Oni that he is sort of legendarily remembered for. And that's it. And you again will continue to see. Normally there's a much greater depth to the archives regarding the particularly those of us those who attain various glorious actions, though from our records it seems that Kairi was unremarkable until one particular event and then forgotten about.
It was a one-hit wonder, and then he died.
Curiosity question.
Mm-hmm.
Is how to put this politely? Is there the possibility that there was more information that has been removed at some point?
Possibly. Our records are not the most complete.
Would it be, I guess my question is, would it be easy for you to notice if information had been removed recently?
Unfortunately, not me. My eyes are going, but I could show you our archives, and you could take a look if you would like.
Yes, I think that would be fine.
Certainly. He sort of gathers up some of the scrolls that you guys aren't using anymore. Follow me. And he'll lead you down into basically a vault. Looks like it may have, at one point, it may have been used to house treasure and like money and like the treasury for whatever castle this was. But at this point, it's just racks and racks of scrolls and books and scrolls and books. And he goes over and puts things away. Feel free to have a look around. Give me an investigation check.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask him where he pulled the information, these scrolls from specifically.
He will show you.
I
32.
I headcanon that is actually what Hisoka says every time he's trying to investigate something.
So yeah, he puts away scrolls and you go over and you look. And you notice that a lot of these scrolls, even the ones that he's putting back, still have dust on them. You get the feeling that a lot of these they're here for research, but they're not often accessed. So plenty of dust all around.
Right.
And you do notice that there are some scrolls that have less dust on them. You pull them off and look, and most of them are sort of biographical scrolls. And then there are some spots where it looks like the shelf may have been more deeply stacked previously. You go over and pull out a few more, and you see that, they sort of stack the scrolls in, because there's so many. So, like, there might be 4 or 5 scrolls in a row. And
Right.
you just sort of looking through, you especially around the area where he put back these, you notice that there are several. Either there wasn't a lot written, and thus not a lot put in, or there were scrolls removed at some point in the past. And there is definitely less dust disturbing this area, less dust in this area than there
It's
is
enough
in
to make a
others.
safe assumption
Yeah,
that somebody recently has removed scrolls.
potentially yes. That would not be an inaccurate assumption.
Okay. What was his name again?
Again,
Yeah. Inson. If I may ask, who has access to these? Do you have to be? Does it require being escorted?
if you're not a member of the order,
Guard.
then yes. If you're not a member of the order, escort is required. If you are, though, the vaults are freely accessible by any of our order.
I'm assuming there are guards that we saw coming in, or something like that.
Only again.
Okay. Are there guards?
You give me a flat perception check.
Well, no. This time, this was me asking.
Oh,
Yeah. Are there
oh,
guards?
asking guards. Why, we are all guardians of our knowledge and our citadel. Every member of the order is prepared to protect our knowledge against those
Yeah.
who seek to remove it.
Of course. Are there dedicated guards to the archives, though?
You get the feeling that what he's implicating is that every monk is a dedicated guard. As to right outside, which I know what you're asking is right outside.
Yes. Are there regularly?
Is there
stationed
anyone who
guards?
watches who comes in and out?
Are there regularly stationed guards? Would be the easiest way to
Yeah.
clarify that.
Again, we'll think.
If he has to think about it, I'm
No,
assuming.
not really. No.
I see. I believe, and it is speculative at this time, but I believe that somebody may have taken information.
Why would they seek to remove biographical information? That seems unimportant.
Oh, very much the opposite. Biographical information could have significant information. It would be less about, I would assume it would be less about learning and more about keeping it from being learned.
Well, if that is your judgment, I will leave it to you. Is there anything else you require from the archives?
Okay, everybody else.
Whenever you're ready.
Do we have enough information to find Masamun's workshop?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, yeah. Hayato's good.
I believe that is everything for now.
Well,
Thank you very
Hey.
much.
You're quite welcome. And he'll escort you out of the room and close the door behind and lock it. So, yeah, you guys are free to move about as you wish. Where are you heading to next?
I believe it would be advisable if Yase-sama could attempt to commune with the kami near Masamun's old work area.
Of
That
course.
sounds wise.
So you guys head to where historically it was reported that that his forge was, which is sort of basement level, back of the building. And you find an untouched room. The door is closed, and you open it up. It's not locked, and you step inside, and this room looks like a weapons forge, like it has always been a weapons forge, and it was never turned into anything else.
Yeah, well, that would be historical preservation for you.
That they haven't applied to anywhere else. The forge is clean and dust free. The materials are stacked in racks as they would be in a proper forge. The utensils of the trade are hanging on the wall, clean as if they are regularly used. And there is in the room. You sort of realize why this was used as a forging area as you walk in. It's low enough and far enough back in the room that there's actually there's a sort of an internal cove of water along the back wall where water from the lake comes in. And the forge and bellows are like the furnace is still hot. Like you can feel heat emanating from it, and you go over and you look and you realize that it is situated above a steam vent that sort of breaches up through the island.
Sort of stoic as ever, Hinata will glide over probably towards the water. What exactly were we hoping to ask?
What they know of the weapons that were forged here.
Especially if they have any ability to inform us as to where we might find them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Specifically the ones that were blessed by the spirits. I do not know if the spirits themselves will differentiate along the same lines that we would, but...
All right. Physical... The water tends towards visual manifestation. And I will cast Commune. I guess that rolls first.
Mm-hmm.
And succeeds.
So, you begin your prayer to summon forth the coming, one that you've done a couple of times now. And as you finish the prayer, drawing it out on a seal, the seal lights up. And what element are you trying to commune with?
Water.
Water?
You said there was a water in the back of the room, which I assume connects to the sacred lake.
There's a pool, yes. Oh. The water erupts out of the cove as you finish your communion spell. Water torrenting up above your head, not splashing down on you, passing over and swirling about into the middle of the room, where it stands, forming the physical visage of a tall, well-muscled human. Which moves over to the forge and begins working.
Huh.
Spirit of Masamune has been summoned.
I mean, that's not how water spirits work, but it's possible.
You're not certain what it's doing. You're not certain what is happening. This has never happened to you before.
Yes, but the spirits have their forms and their ways, and generally that varies depending on where you are and what you're doing. So I'm just glad I didn't ask fire to try and do this. Not that I'd ask fire anyway. I can't talk to fire. So Hinata will just carry on. What do you know of the spirit weapons that were the sacred weapons that were forged in this place?
You see the water spirit, if it is a water spirit, reach out and, like it's going to grab a hammer off the wall, but it closes its fist around nothing and you see an air spirit form. One you didn't call, obviously.
Yeah.
Forming into a hammer as it moves over towards the forge. It hasn't answered your question yet, but you get the sense that it is responding to you.
All right. Well, then Hinata will give it more time, because if this is a response, she'll let it play out.
It reaches down, and a chunk of the floor erupts up, just bursts up in the form of a crude blade. And it pulls it off and places it on the anvil. And the not lit but still warm furnace erupts into fire. And the fire leaps out and dances along the stone blade. What was the question you asked again?
What can you tell us of the sacred weapons that were forged here?
Yeah. I just want to make sure that I had the wording correct. And in your head and in all of your heads, all of you hear a cacophony of voices, 4 distinct different voices, speaking as one. One light and airy that you might associate with the air. One raspy and rough that you might associate with the earth. One fluid and liquid, and one chaotic and energetic. As the wind hammer comes down and strikes the earth blade, and fire sort of engulfs, and all 4 elements move in unison. The blades forged here were made from the balance of the kami, working in unison.
That seemed to be the end of the answer.
Yes.
Okay. Where are these blades now?
The watery form holds the blade up and just sort of like inspecting it like a swordsmith might, puts it down and continues to hammer away. The 7 sacred blades were given to 7 warriors who split along the earth. They were gathered together and lost. They remain near both water and earth, where fire cannot reach and air has little power. And even though you've asked your 2 questions, the spirit is still here.
That sounds to me like they're at the bottom of the ocean. On the seafloor.
Well, I don't know what the situation. I see calm, almost indifferent to the really cool stuff happening in front of her. John, what I know generally, I know this is a weird situation, but generally, do the spirits have a concept of north, south, east, or west?
No. Spirits typically speak in riddles.
Yeah. Which direction from here?
It sort of stops hammering, pulls away the earthen blade, points it point down, and it melts back with the floor. The fire returns to the furnace and extinguishes. The hammer evaporates. So it turns to look at you. You will find your answer by looking for the mark. And the watery form walks back to the water and melds back with it. And you all can see in its place, etched on the anvil, is a symbol.
What does that symbol look like?
It is a diamond with two smaller diamonds on the left and right corners. And it would seem that that is the mark of Masamune.
So somewhere we're going to find that mark, and the swords will be at the bottom of a lake nearby?
I believe it. Like Maker's marks on swords are things in this setting.
Yes, they are.
I imagine that is the mark of the swords and swords maker themselves. And just gives a short bow to probably in Hisoka and Hayato's direction. I hope that was helpful.
Indeed.
What are the odds that these swords came to rest somewhere near their home?
Well, the last known location was the Imperial City, which is not near here.
Yeah.
And then the Mantis apparently know where they are.
The Mantis stole them. Theoretically,
Well.
maybe.
Or at least they know the guys who did.
I mean, if someone accidentally dropped them all in the ocean-faring clan might be suspect.
But just because we live on the islands doesn't mean we know where every sunken treasure is, okay?
Just most of them.
Just because we put a lot of that sunken treasure there doesn't...
And I suppose if there is no more to be learned here, we had best be on our way.
Of course.
Yes.
So which swords are we looking for? Are we going to go after this lion blade, or do we want to try and find the 7 sacred swords?
Perhaps retrieving one might be better than 7. At least to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I think the 7 blades might be more potent, and I think we might need the best steel we can find to deal with this individual. Unless we're worried about running out of time.
Well,
I mean,
to find
yes.
7 blades in 1 month, or
3 weeks.
Well, apparently they're all in one spot.
perhaps before we leave, we should ask Tagoshi-san if this riddle means anything to him.
It certainly cannot hurt.
Then, Kisaki-sama, we will allow you to lead the way.
So, you go find Tagoshi again. And you find him easily enough. He's an old man and doddering around looking at scrolls. May I help you again?
Yes, we were wondering. We were wondering if we came across some information. We were wondering if it might mean anything to you.
Very well. Well, it seems as though... sounds to me like the swords are buried in the water somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find more answers if you find anyone that has that mark on them. Well, if you find the mark on a building, or on some weapon, or on somebody's person, I'm assuming look for the mark. If what you're seeking is below the waves, I would speak with the Mantis clan at the port.
Right.
It is likely that our path will lead us to the port regardless, then.
Well then. May your journey be swift and uneventful.
One can only hope. Swish pan, too.
So, is there anything else you guys are doing in town, or are you just heading out?
Hayato is going to pull Hisoka aside and describe his encounter with Sparrow the previous night.
Okay.
And ask if he has any practical application for an individual of those apparent talents and abilities.
I mean, yes, possibly. Stealth, being perceptive. I'm not sure exactly whether skills were on display there, but those are definitely important ones. Which you have in spades. But yes, that is absolutely something that would have value.
Well, apparently, if we wander about the open air market, we can find her. See if she is able to be reassigned.
Do we know? Apparently not. I'm not sure. If there would be any group that worked in some official that worked like that in some official capacity.
How do you mean?
Is there some, based on what little we know, is there any organization that we might know that,
Are there orphanages?
Or is she Batman?
Hayato can make a lore roll.
Like,
Okay.
Is she Batman, or is she a member of the Bat family?
The implication given to you was that she was a hired watcher for the people that run the red light district.
Right.
Which
She's basically Selena Kyle pre-freelance.
I mean, maybe still freelancing, but
Maybe still freelancing.
She didn't have any visible tattoos, and the people, the effectively Yakuza who were running the red light district had tattoos.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but
it kind of does. Yes.
Okay.
No, that absolutely answers the question. Yeah, that's basically Was there somebody that she answers to, maybe? Or is she Batman?
Yeah, the implication of throwing money around, says that she works for hire.
Yeah.
I mean, we need allies. It's not my favorite type of allies, but there is value there. Certainly wouldn't hurt.
Oh, well. I will see what I can find.
Yes.
And Hayato's going to go out looking for Sparrow.
All right.
This time, not in a mask and shit.
So it's still daylight. You guys take another hour's ride back across the river. It's been a couple of hours of research, so it's probably around little afternoon at this point. Okay. You head over to the open markets, where you find a very different vibe from the northern portion of the city, and you can again that suspicion that you had at night sort of is confirmed during the day. There aren't a lot of guards that patrol out here. The open market doesn't have nearly as much of a standardized feel to it as the market does on the other side of the river. There's sort of stalls where people are hawking various wares, fishmongers and cloth, and people selling cloth, and people selling baked goods, and people selling crafted goods, and people doing the hawker thing, the come here, find stuff, pay us money thing.
Yep.
You're in the open markets.
Cool.
What are you doing to try to find Sparrow?
Hayato is going to just wander around and keep an eye out initially.
Okay, give me an investigation roll.
Okay, because this is going to go great. That's a 24.
That is a 24. So yeah, you're looking around and you notice some more of those individuals with tattoos. They don't seem to be wandering around quite as in force as they were last night, but they do sort of hang around certain stalls. And you get the feeling that there are some stalls that are just owned by whoever's there, and there are some stalls that are owned by this organization, whatever it may be. So that's what you notice primarily.
Okay. Damn it. Should have done a disguise before anything else. Oh well. Hayato's going to walk around and try and put off that sort of vibe that sort of invites somebody in to ask him, so what are you doing around here? You look like you need some help.
Give me an acting roll.
Okay. That's a 32.
Good actor.
Yes,
good
I am.
Actor, good actor. No. Yeah, so you sort of like open up, let your, hide your weapons a little bit more and sort of open up your posture a little bit more. Drop the hat down the back. Just sort of doing the wide-eyed touristy thing.
Right.
Oh, look, this is interesting. What's over here? And start walking.
What's this?
There's color everywhere. And start walking a little bit too close to those stalls.
Uh-huh.
And after about your third pass, you're sort of walking between a pair of stalls when a sort of a bamboo cane just sort of slides down in front of you, cutting off your direct path forward. And there's a dude in sort of a dirty yellow yukata with his tattoos visible, and just the barest hint of the hilt of a wakizashi visible on the inside of his yukata. As he sort of tink looks at that, click, puts it down in front of you and looks at you. So, what's going on, friend? You looking for something?
his posture will immediately change into a much more intense, aggressive stance. And he'll sort of push back his clothes to the point where both sword hilts, at least, and the wakizashi are immediately visible.
So you do the Scarface thing. You just go
right. Yep. Right. Yep. I am looking for the one known as Sparrow. Where is she to be found?
Give me a roll. What roll it is remains to be seen.
An intimidation, maybe?
Yeah, you can give me an intimidation roll if you want, or a either an intimidation roll or an etiquette roll.
Well, it's not courtesy, so it's probably going to be about the same either way.
No, it is not courtesy.
12 on the intimidation. Not so great.
He sort of looks you up and down, raises an eyebrow. Yeah, you look like you're new to this. What do you want her for?
There's a job that requires her attendance.
Well. Boy's got money, apparently. He sort of looks you up and down.
I love that we have Italian mobsters in this fantasy Japan setting.
Why not?
Hey, mobster's a mobster, pretty much.
That's that. It's the central Japan accent. South Central. Anyways.
The Sicilian Japan accent.
Yeah, Sicilian Japanese. Whatever. You're muted, Aaron.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's like how the southern. It's like how the Kyushu accent is always translated as southern. It's like,
Right.
Except for the one time it was actually supposed to be a southern accent.
Yeah. So why exactly would we let our little sparrow go with you?
I think a man of your insight can contrive any number of reasons. But jobs forge connections. Connections provide opportunity. Opportunity is the link between deprivation and prosperity.
Be a sincerity roll.
And opportunity leads to the dark side.
Yes, yes, it does. That's a 20.
So it looks you up and down. Piece of advice. Lead with that next time. He lifts up the cane. Follow me.
I'll follow him.
And he turns around and walks past the stall, over to an alleyway, down the alleyway, and into a building. He sort of reaches up and taps on a rice paper door. Wait right here. And he walks off. After a few moments, a bleary-eyed, just woke up looking sparrow sort of like opens the door and looks up at you. What the hell do you want? It's like... Oh, the sun's up.
Am I getting any hint that she recognizes me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a courtier roll.
I have. That's an untrained. 12.
She seems genuinely exhausted, but like she recognizes you.
Okay. Are you interested in the opportunity to gain glory and honor and potentially a bit of coin on the side?
I mean, you can skip the first two. How much coin are we talking?
For that, you would have to speak with those who lead me. We work out of Kisakijo. and the valley may have need of your services.
You see her eyebrows just sort of raise. Like, okay, you're name dropping places. Right. And is this some sort of joke? Are you about to try to, like, throw me in a river because I caught you last night? Is that what this is?
No, we are about to cross the river where you will speak to some individuals who will be able to more fully explain your role in the future.
Right. Okay.
Come on, kid, we're going uptown.
And as you lead her away, we're going to take another quick break. This time an actual break, not a me answering my door break. Back in a few. And wreck. So, Hisoka and Hinata and Akane, about an hour after Hayato left you, he returns with
Someone in tow.
with a what looks to be an 18-year-old girl, with rough pixie cut black hair, brown eyes, fair skin tone, and this sort of sort of patchwork outfit on, no shoes, with just like a pair of daggers like sort of tucked into her belt, with no like.
It's Erikishi on a bad day.
Ren kind of looks. Akane kind of looks over her shoulder because she's probably sitting at a table having a drink. I didn't know you had a type, Hayato.
Which
we
I'm not that kind of girl.
And I'm looking for Hisoka because he's the one who's going to be... Because you're in charge of this group right now.
So yeah.
Kisaki-sama. This is Sparrow-san, the girl I mentioned.
Ah, wonderful. Please have a seat.
She just sort of folds her arms.
Or not. I'm sorry, your name is?
Sparrow.
Sparrow. Tell me a bit about yourself.
She looks confused, like she's not certain why you're asking. I get places people can't get to and grab things people can't grab.
Okay. Antitonic was complimentary of your skills as much as he has observed.
She just looks over at Hayato and then just sort of shrugs.
I'm wondering whether you would be interested in expanding your employer base a bit.
I mean, he mentioned getting paid, so that's what I'm here for.
Yes. Okay. That can definitely happen. There are words trying to get to my head, trying to get to my mouth. Bleh, yes. What sort of things are you what sort of things are you typically used to retrieving?
Just about anything. I mean, sometimes it's small and shiny, sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a dog, sometimes it's big and bulky. In those cases, I typically have to get a cart. But, I mean, anything. I'm small, it's easy to get in places.
Yes.
And yeah, she's like a waif, basically.
What we are potentially looking to, our interests perhaps run on a somewhat larger scale, I think, than you are used to. I'm, Is that something that... I guess the question I'm asking is, do you feel like your skills are more than adequate to the kinds of things that you are doing now? Or is this about the right
Where have
challenge
you
level?
peaked?
Yeah. Is this the right challenge level for what you normally...
I mean, I do whatever is needed, so long as the coin's right.
What is your typical price?
I mean, that depends on what you want, but it's negotiable. You get the sense she's used to negotiating above her, like with above her size.
Mm-hmm.
Is she actually shorter than me?
How tall are you?
Not.
Numerically, not empirically.
Apparently 5'2", but my height
Yes,
is
she's
tiny.
she's 4'8",
Ah.
and like rail thin.
So she's not thinner than me, but she's smaller than me.
Yeah, you've got 6 inches on her, half a head or so.
All right. Well, I think that, not knowing yet exactly where your levels of your skill are.
Well, I can
I
give
think
you a
that-
demonstration if you like.
That was pretty much what I was about to say. Yes.
Roll me a investigation notice check.
Okay.
Am I also
All of you can.
here?
All of you can.
That thing that I'm untrained in. 8.
18.
24. I'm actually paying attention today.
She sort of indicates, you guys have like food on your table, and she just sort of indicates, can I have that? It's like pointing at like a bit of meat.
Yes. By all means.
She walks over and retrieves the meat with a pair of chopsticks, and puts it in her mouth and steps back. Done.
Do I notice
I
anything
checked my
additional
wallet,
missing?
even though I probably wasn't sitting near her.
Do you have who all checks their belongings?
Hayato definitely does.
Akane is across the room. She doesn't care to check.
Hisoka, you go to like sort of check your stuff and realize your wakizashi's missing. And she like with the chopsticks in her right hand and her left hand under her elbow, she sort of wiggles her hand and you see her holding your wakizashi.
So, since this is a fantasy setting, was she ever remotely near?
Yeah.
Does this look like...
She
okay.
sort of leaned past you to get the food.
Okay. That wasn't... Okay.
No mage hand.
Yeah, that was my question.
She's not an arcane trickster, is what we're getting at.
But like,
really good.
but
or
like,
divine seeker.
in the motion of in plain sight amongst all four of you, reaching over to get the food with the chopsticks, she managed to disarm you.
That is impressive.
She hands it back.
Thank you.
She rolled a 52 on her sleight of hand check.
Jesus Christ.
This system lets you fucking specialize.
Uh-huh.
And how?
You want to start with some names to put the poor girl at ease?
Yes.
Apologies for not introducing myself sooner. Yase Hinata.
Renakane.
And Kisaki Hisoka.
Her eyebrows shoot up at your name.
That's what I was waiting for last.
I mean, I'm
Hayato will just give her a look like, told you.
I'm Suzume, which literally means sparrow.
Which do you prefer?
She shrugs.
All right, Susume. We are at work on certain missions of a level of importance right now. One of them involves, well, the details are not necessarily relevant right now, but the gist of it is that I assume, in addition to acquiring things, you probably have sources of information. You probably have your ears to the ground in several places, correct?
That's fair to say.
I don't know necessarily whether you will have access to this sort of information, but I'm curious to see how resourceful you can be on this. It is conceivable that certain pieces of information were taken from the monastery. Scrolls of a biographical nature.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't the only thing. I mean, if you're paying me, I might as well tell you.
She's good.
If I may ask, were you the person who took them?
Yep.
And if I may ask who you took them for?
I'm one of the monks. Didn't get a name, didn't ask for a name, but he wanted like 4 scrolls and told me where to get them. I got them.
How long ago was this?
About a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Paid me a koku for it, so.
Interesting.
Damn, this girl was rolling in it.
Yeah. One of the monks from the monastery?
Yeah, young guy, long black hair.
Oh, that solves our question.
Not a lot of tattoos.
I'm assuming that doesn't match the description of
Akujin? No, it does not match the description of Akujin.
No, he's got a shit ton of tattoos.
It does match the description of the person you were told about Hayato, though.
Right.
Who is did you refresh? Is that somebody that we've been...
Only Hayato knows about that person.
That's what I thought. Okay. Is this somebody who is seen, who you see regularly around the city?
No. I saw them the once and then they left. As far as I know, they were heading towards the port. They stopped, I believe they stopped in Kawanofutogo for a bit, though.
You're fairly sure, I'm certain that you could identify them if you see them again.
Oh, yeah.
What would the price be if I were to ask you to acquire them back?
Well, that depends. And so the two of you talk for a little bit, and basically what you have got here, you have a hireling. She is a thief and she is a thief and a shinobi of a type, not the same kind like Hayato is, but far more open about it than Hayato is. And basically, you have her services for the price of 2 bu a month.
Okay.
And she will follow you, and with the exception of some tasks for which she may charge extra, she will follow you and help you out as you require of her skill set.
Perfect. And we have an accord.
Sounds good. So you guys bunking here for the night? Because this is actually a pretty nice place, let me tell you.
Yes. I will get her set up with the room.
Yep. You now have Suzume, the Kunoichi hireling.
Companion unlocked.
We will adopt all of the things, and then you will feel my pain.
Oh, that's not bad.
I ain't adopting shit. This girl's low class. And I've got failure of Bushido compassion, so...
She's low class, but she out-snuck and stole you, so...
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which of those things is Hayato's priority?
All right, so what's going on next with you guys?
I think we're headed to Ichizoku no
Sounds like we're
Minato.
headed to a port.
Because Shinrin Nohashi is just a town; it's not a port, right?
Shinrin Nohashi is the logging village. It's the like sort of the lumber yard and everything for the valley. They tend to ship all of their lumber. They tend to ship most of their lumber over to the port. Because that's the easiest way to get up and down the river to various other places.
Uh-huh.
All right, so you guys head out towards the port. Are you stopping in Kawanofunaga at all?
Not unless I see a dude with a really tall bicento.
Do you want to stop and look for him?
I mean, if we have to pass through the town, which I think we do because it has the only bridges across the river.
Yeah.
She'll at least take a few minutes to look around and see if she spots any Ronin with that match a description of Lightning Bicento.
Do you tell anybody else about him? Because I think you're the only one that really sort of confirmed what he was and noticed him a lot. Noticed him very much. Like everybody noticed him, but you're the only one that focused on him.
I give the rundown on he is a Ronin who could very likely use a based on what Hinata found a job because he has no clan or lord, and he didn't become a Ronin by cowardice. He became a Ronin by everyone that he worked for is dead. So
and clarifying that this is an assumption based on what you saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hayato's willing to help ask around Kawano Futago and also mention that we should probably ask around about this monk that was given
There's a couple
contraband.
things. We want to check in and see how things have gone in the last few days.
Yeah, make sure
regarding
no disappearances.
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, all the rest of that.
All right. So you guys take a day and head to Kawano Futago. Suzume is more than capable of keeping up. In fact, interestingly enough, while most of you sort of are walking in the snow, she seems to just walk across the top. She seems like completely unaffected by the snow as difficult terrain.
Huh.
Whether or not any of you ask her about that is up to you, but because you do have a day of walking, and she is making no effort to hide this fact.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask her in a curiosity manner.
So you go, what's up?
Words, character. God damn it. Sorry, give me just a second. Someone vamp for a bit. I need to.
People, vamp.
And I actually need to work
Okay.
on that work-wise.
So we're back to traveling, right?
Yeah, you're walking. You're all walking towards Kohen of Taco.
In that case, Hinata is. I need to vamp. Okay, Hinata's playing with
Yes,
the puppy.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Hinata is playing with puppy.
Yep.
And so,
Just like throwing little sticks for Aya, having her retrieve them.
as Hisoka is currently running through 15 different plans in his head, is sort of cut off his own conversation. Akane speaks up. You move awfully light on your feet for someone who's been mostly on the streets.
I mean, it's kind of comes to the territory, she says, walking across the top of the thing. It's always just been easy for me.
It's not something that you had any sort of training in?
No, not really. Just have to know how to walk, and you can walk across pretty much anything.
That's a magic.
That doesn't seem normal. That doesn't seem right. Something about that seems like inaccurate, but I mean,
Sorry.
Give me a
Hey.
give me a courtier
There's not
roll.
insight.
Courtier.
Yeah,
courtier roll.
Can I make a spell casting roll?
30.
Or
Sure, you can make a
Spellcraft?
Sure, you can make a spellcraft roll. 30. She seems to believe what she said. It doesn't seem right to you, but
28.
she's not lying to you.
What weird mystical heritage do you have, little girl?
28. Hinata.
I swear to God, if this kid is like 1/4 kitsune or something, I'm gonna be pissed as fuck.
Note that I
Relax.
say little girl.
Many
when she's
people in
actually-
this setting have kami blood.
This seems like something that you like. This seems like something you could do with the blood of kami, like tattoos, like what the Togashi order have.
Yeah.
And there are certainly Shugenja who can walk on water, and like move in ways that are not natural. She
But
doesn't seem to be casting any spells, though, which is typically required of that.
That's deliberate, and this seems like just something she can do.
Yeah.
This seems incidental. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't know of anything specific, Hinata will still very impassively just scratch the dog, throw again. Dog.
Yeah, just over the course.
Hisoka is nowhere to be found.
Hisoka or Hayato?
Or Hayato, sorry. Hayato is nowhere to be found. Well, I assume.
Crap.
Let's see.
Hayato finally kidnapped Hisoka.
Yep. Well, maybe. Actually, no. Some of you can probably see Hayato. Apparently, he's cold and not doing.
Can I
his
make
best
that
today.
roll?
In investigation rolls to see investigation notice rolls to see Hayato.
26.
Everybody sees him.
26.
He's
Everyone's
trying to stay out undercover and is doing a shit job today. Okay.
The one
Blazing
time
solid.
everybody rolls really well.
You see, Hayato is like trying to replicate what Suzume is doing and just keeps going.
Oh, is that what I'm doing? Is that what I'm doing?
So,
Awesome.
that's why you're not being so stealthy, because you're trying to copy. What are you just like off to one side or what?
Yeah, pretty much. Just trying to stay inside the tree line. He's looking for traps, is what he's doing on the way.
Yeah. You can give me an investigation notice check.
Okay.
Notice would be the emphasis if any of you had it.
I do not have a notice, but I do have a 26.
No, you don't see any more traps. You had removed all the previous ones.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah. And so with this curious girl that is a really good thief and apparently can walk on snow.
Akane is just using her machete as a snowplow, by the way. She just kind of got it like forward in front of her.
Single blading it.
Just digging up snow left and right. And eventually, you guys find yourselves in Kawana of Futago, where the snow has sort of been shoveled away. Suzume hops down off the snowbank and onto the ground. All right. So we're looking for a big scary samurai guy?
Yes, and also any information about our monk friend.
Right. Okay, I'll ask around. And she trots off.
Excellent.
And it's like,
Meanwhile,
knowing how capable she is, like, it's odd to see her run off like a kid. But that's what she does. She just runs off like a kid.
People tell kids things.
I said, I note that Hisoka referred to her mentally as little girl when she's like 2 years older than him.
Right.
Hinata is very carefully not using the term chan, but definitely is thinking it.
Hisoka looks older than her, though. That's the trick.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
Hisoka's spent his whole life as part of a daimyo's family. Yeah.
I mean, depends on your definition of axe older.
So is it investigation to see if we can find anything out about these people?
Either investigation or etiquette, yeah.
I'll go with etiquette.
Can I make a battle check to find a soldier?
Yeah, you can make a battle check.
Investigation.
Good, because that's the thing that I'm trained in. I still roll poorly. Still got a 12, but
24.
32.
41.
All right. So, to specify, Akane made a battle roll to find the samurai or the ronin. What are the rest of you guys are making? What are the rest of you
Hayato
putting
made
your
an
rolls towards?
etiquette roll. He's looking more for the monk.
Okay.
Hisoka is more interested. Not that he's not interested in the samurai, more interested in the monk, information on the monk. So he's poking around that way. I probably should have rolled with him, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's what that investigation
And
is
Hinata?
for.
Focusing on the monk because I think that's the one I'm going to be able to find.
Okay.
Exposition.
So, Hinata, Hayato, and Hisoka, you guys are sort of looking around and looking for information or asking about the whereabouts of this monk. You all find various different people who have seen him, who saw him come through. They refer to him as a younger-looking man with long black hair, sort of like down to the middle of his back. Not all the way down to his waist, but sort of middle of the back. Who came through very quiet and sort of introspective, but with like a large pack. Like sort of a traveler's pack, they most often will describe it as. He kept to himself, he only stayed for a couple of nights, and then he headed south. No one really got a name. He didn't talk at all. He just sort of paid. He indicated with his hands, paid, and moved on.
And that matches up with the timeline that Tadashi Midori had given me?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it seem like he might be keeping to a vow of silence, or no?
That's the assumption, but
Okay.
there's no proof, because that's how do you prove that? But
That's
that's the assumption that the people you talked with had.
Okay.
Because monk not speaking vow of silence. Akane, you sort of roam the streets looking to see if there's any scuffles or anything happening, and you're not really finding much of anything. When you feel sort of like a rock bounce off your shoulder.
I look over my shoulder.
And you sort of look over and then look up, and you see Suzume sitting on a rooftop waving at you. She holds a finger up to her lips, points, and runs across the rooftop.
I head that direction on the ground.
Yeah. She sort of leads you through a couple of back alleys in this sort of central area and hangs off the roof, and indicates around the corner for you. As you turn the corner, you see the samurai, or the Ronin, that you had seen in the tavern previously, surrounded by what look to be Mantis clan samurai. The Mantis clan are all wearing their colors, obviously, and they're sort of like jeering and making comments, and this man who's larger than them, sort of standing in the middle of them, with his Bicento on his shoulder, just sort of looking down, and they're having some form of conversation that seems like it's going to turn into a confrontation.
I just kind of approach the outer ring of this conversation. You all don't want to do that. He will kill all of you.
And on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for an evening. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.